Hare Krishna, welcome to Krishna Kiranalu. We are now in CAX, Krishna answers Arjuna's questions. Today we are going to have the questions in part 4. The first question for in this part is, what is the way to transcend sorrow? Before this, I would like to just tell a small story about a Pandit. There was one Pandit who had mastered all the 64 arts. They say that there are 64 kalas or arts. He was a very great learned man. So he traveled across and defeated many other Pandits, and because of that, his ego has been completely boosted up. So it so happened that while traveling, once he had to cross a river. So he had to take the help of, it's a big river, he had to take the help of a boatman, and the river was quite in spate. So as he was going in the boat, so he engaged in a conversation with the boatman. So he asked the boatman, hey man, do you know grammar? The boatman said no, he doesn't know. Then this Pandit told the boatman that, hey man, your 1/4 of your life is gone if you have not learned grammar. Then as he was going, he asked him, do you know Mimamsa? Mimamsa is one philosophy. So the boatman said, no sir, I don't know Mimamsa, I only know how to eat mom's meat. I don't know about Mimamsa. Then he says, 1/4 plus 1/4, your life is gone, half the life is gone. You have not learned that in your life. Then as he was going, then he asked him another question. Do you know astrology? Jyotish. The boatman, very innocently, he said, sir, I don't know astrology. Then the Pandit told him that 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4, almost 3/4 of your life is wasted. So as they were going, it so happened that, as already said, the river was in spate, and suddenly there was a heavy rain, downpour, and then the river, the spate of the river it has become much more furious. The river has become much more furious. Then the boatman asked this Pandit, sir, do you know how to swim? The Pandit said, no, I don't know. Why you are asking me this question? Then the boatman told him, sir, you can see that the clouds are very dark and it's going to rain heavily and the river is already in spate. So the Pandit, he blinked and he said, no, I don't know how to swim. And the boat capsized in between. It sank. Because this man knows how to swim, the boatman, he swam across and reached the other side of the river. The boat capsized and the Pandit drowned and died. So it's not necessary from this story, we understand that how much ever you learn, there is always something that is to be learnt, something which we don't know. In this particular incident, in this particular story, the river is nothing but the samsara that we are in. Samsara is about birth and death, birth and death. We keep coming back again and again. So it's actually, the real sorrow is about this being born and being again dying. By taking birth, dying, taking birth, dying. This is what it is. So how do you cross this? There is this Adhyatma Vidya. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam, of all the knowledge that you have, spiritual knowledge, I am the spiritual knowledge. Krishna says that. So how do you transcend sorrow? The one who knows that, the first question, the one who knows that he is Atma, not the body and mind, once you know that this is Atma, once you know that what you are inside is Atma, and not the body and mind, then you can transcend the sorrow. The next question is, what is the way to remove sorrow? Okay, transcending sorrow is one thing, but how do you remove sorrow? Only when you remove sorrow, there is, you transcend it, and then there is happiness. When there is darkness, you don't have to do anything else to remove darkness. You just light a lamp and the darkness goes. So how do you remove sorrow is the next question. So how do you remove sorrow is by not identifying oneself with the body, but to realize his oneness with the Atma is the way to remove all sorrows forever. This is what Krishna says. The next question is, how should man work? We keep on working, we keep on doing a lot of things. But how should we really work? Does any one of us know how should we really work? Nobody tells us how we should work. They will say that you have to get result. You have to do this, you have to do that. But how should we really work? Which is the best way to work? Krishna says that by being firmly established in equanimity, we should all work by being firmly established in equanimity. Equanimity means we are neither tilting that side nor tilting this side, because these tilts are likely to give us sorrow. Because once you gain something which you expect, then you are happy. Once you receive something which you are not expecting, then you are again in sorrow. So if you work in a state of balance, in a state of equanimity of the mind, then that is the way you should actually work, is what Krishna says. What is the way to work without being tarnished with sins? The next question is, what is the way to work without being tarnished with sins? A sin is, when you work, you are bound to get either punya or sin, either the goodness or badness. This is what generally it is. So how do you work? What's the way to work without being tarnished with sins is what the question is. And the only one word answer that Krishna gives to this is detachment. Detachment from what? Detachment from the loss or the gains. Detachment from pain or pleasure. The single word answer that Krishna gives is detachment. Detachment from sukh and dukh. That's the way you have to work. And of course, these are not easy things to work. In 6th chapter, Krishna tells how it should be. When Arjuna raises this question, how we can work like that, it's the two things that Krishna tells. Abhyasam and Vairagyam. Abhyasam means practice and Vairagyam means detachment. The next question is, explain the point of Karma Yoga. Explain the point of Karma Yoga. The answer for this, there are three types of answers for this. Whatever is done in this Karma Yoga never goes waste. We are all bound by karma. Karmanu bandhini manushya loke. We are all bound by the karmas that we do. So there is no way to escape this Karma Yoga. But if you do good karma, it will never go waste. Even if you do bad karma, it will never go waste, because it will come back to you in some form or the other. So the best way is to do as many good works as possible, as much good work or Karma Yoga as possible. Nobody can remain without doing the Karma Yoga. It's just not possible. And then the second answer to this is, for this question is, Karma Yoga is, there is no adverse effect even if it is stopped in the middle. Suppose you are doing some good work and if you stop in the middle, even then there is no adverse effect. What this means is, if you do something bad karma, that will definitely have some adverse effect. But if you do good karma, it will not have any adverse effect. It's in fact going to help you. And the third type of answer for this is, a little of this practice saves man from great fear, because we are constantly in fear. A man who has riches is always in a fear of losing it. A man who is in the possession of good number of friends is always in fear of losing them. So there is always a constant fear that man lives with. Whoever you are, a man always lives in fear, either in his possessions of people or position or his relations. A man always lives in a constant fear of losing them, which is actually not a good thing. So if you have detachment and you do your karma yoga without any kind of with detachment, then you are likely to be living in a state of happiness. The next question is, what is a way to escape the fear of samsara? Samsara actually is, as we already discussed, samsara is about birth and death, and not our family life. It's about taking birth. You are in the womb of your mother for 9 months. That's also actually a kind of jail. Then you live your life, and then one day the body dies. This is called samsara. So what's the way to escape this samsara? To act according to the law of karma yoga with discrimination in the way. With discrimination means this is vivekam. In Shankaracharya also talks about Viveka Chudamani. In Viveka Chudamani, Shankaracharya, Jagadguru Shankaracharya talks about it. Discrimination in the way you do karma yoga. So you'll have to discriminate what is good and what is bad, and accordingly do the karma yoga. Then you will be in a state to escape the fears of samsara. And then the next question for this part 4 is, what is Lord Krishna's command to do karma yoga? So there are 5 things for this question, 5 answers for this question. One is to transcend the 3 gunas, sattva, rajas, tamo guna. These are the 3 gunas which are bound, which bind a human from doing things. Sattva, rajas, tamo. We have to transcend the 3 gunas. The next one is to be free from the pairs of opposites. Pairs of opposites means sukha, dukkha, pain and pleasure, the feeling of loss and gain, heat and cold. This is the second one. And then to give up the thoughts of gain and loss, because you gain nothing, you lose nothing. Krishna says that you please give up these thoughts. And then the first step is to remain in a state of sattva all times. Sattva thinking, sattva karma, sattvika karma, sattva thinking, sattva talk. Everything has to be sattva. You'll have to move. You'll have to constantly observe yourself and remain in a state of sattva. That's the first step. And then to be firmly established in the self and not in the body. You'll have to firmly establish in the self is what Krishna says, Arjuna, in the self, the inner self that is there, and not in the body, because this body is bound to keep on changing. It has changes. It keeps on changing from boyhood, youth, middle age, old age, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi. These are the things which this body undergoes. But the self doesn't undergo any of these things. It remains ever youthful. It remains there in the state of bliss. If you understand these 5 things, this is what Lord Krishna's commands are: to transcend the 3 gunas, to be free from pairs of opposites, to give up the thoughts of gain and loss, to remain in the state of sattva, to be established in the self. These are the commands that Lord Krishna has given. With this, we will end this part 4 of Krishna answers Arjuna's questions. Cax, soon will be with you with the next part. Keep thinking on these things. It's not easy for any of us. Even the preachers who is talking about it, it's not easy. If not in one life, at least as we keep moving, we will gain this firmness of mind. Thank you very much for being here. Hare Krishna.